Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's practice will be a gentle vinyasa flow. The optional props are a set of blocks and a wheel. We will begin by syncing with the breath. Today's affirmation is, real love starts with me. Breathe in for 4 and exhale for 4. When you're ready, flutter open the eyes and begin by rotating your neck to the left and then to the right. Really gently place your hands on your knees and begin to rotate your torso in circles, starting with the left and then the right. Bring the right calf parallel to the mat and bring the left foot to rest on the outside of the right knee. Bring the right arm to hug the knee and rotate through the torso, bringing the left hand and gaze behind you. When you're ready, we will swap the legs. So bring the left calf parallel to the mat this time and bring that right foot to rest on the outside of the left knee. Bring the left arm to hug the knee and rotate through the torso, bringing the right hand and gaze behind you. Coming back to center, we're going to transition to a wide leg child's pose. So big toes come to touch. Bring your knees wider than your hips and sink back through the hips. Come through to Cobra by bringing the hands under the shoulders. The shoulder blades are back and down, engaging the lower body by pressing your pelvis and thighs into the mat. Lower down and push up for a shoulder raise pose, resting on the forearms. Taking the body into Sarpasana or snake pose. Inhale and raise the upper abdomen, chest and face away from the floor while pulling the arms out behind you. Straighten your arms for Cobra and take a slight twist by turning your gaze over your right shoulder. And then the left. Tuck the toes and shift the hips up and back for downward dog, dropping the shoulders away from your ears and bring that head in line with the arms. Send the leg furthest from me up towards the sky, bending at the knee to bring some movement to the leg and bring it through to rest on the mat. Bring the hand to the mat in line with the knee as you sweep the other arm up overhead, shifting your weight to your supporting hand. Meet back in downward dog, and we're going to repeat on the opposite side. So send the opposite leg up towards the sky, bending at the knee, bringing some movement to the leg. And bring it through the rest on the mat. I'm going to shift my stance so that you can see me. Bring the hand to the mat in line with the knee as you sweep your other arm overhead, shifting your weight to your supporting hand. Come back to center, and we're going to come to a kneeling pose and take a gentle back bend by placing your hands on your hips at your lower back and stretching while balancing. From here, we're going to take a reclining hero pose, so feel free to utilize blocks to bring it around closer, placing the blocks between the ankles and or back. Slowly walk your hands back and lower your body by leaning your torso back. You have the option to bend your elbows or come down on your forearms. If you're comfortable here, continue to release your back towards the floor, but if you feel pain in your knees or lower back, come out of the pose. Come back to center. Slowly walk the body to an upright position, removing all props. Come to lie flat on your back for bridge pose. You're going to bend your knees and bring your feet flat on the floor just in front of your hips. heels below the knees. Lift the hips up, and you have the option to put a block underneath your sacrum at whatever height feels more comfortable in order to bring the ground closer to you. Removing the block, we're going to transition to fish pose. So place a block or cushion on your mat and come to lie down on your back with a block behind your upper back supporting between the shoulder blades. Extend your legs out long. If your neck finds this position uncomfortable, place a second block beneath your head. Removing the props, come to a sitting position with the legs out straight in front of you and begin to hinge at the hips, reaching towards your toes. We're going to take a seated forward fold, so stop when you feel some sensation in your back or behind the legs. Fold forward, bringing the chin towards the knees. The knees can be bent. You're going to come to sit in Vajrasana and inhale as you come into a kneeling pose, making sure the knees are hip width distance apart. Inhale as you raise your arms up and overhead. Exhale and slowly place the palms on the mat, arching your back, dropping your belly, looking up for cow pose. Inhale into cat pose, rounding your spine. Shift your hips back for child's pose. We're going to repeat this 2 more times. Exhale, lower the body to the floor, untuck the toes, keeping the elbows close to the body, lift the chest up, come back to outward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, release back to downward facing dog, pressing your hands into the floor, lift the hips up and back. Extend the back leg and bring it through for a low lunge. Coming up for warrior 2. Stretch the arms out wide at shoulder level. For reverse warrior, place the back hand on the calves or thighs, stretching the opposite arm up and over. Begin to straighten that front leg. Keeping the legs where they are, begin to hinge at the hips, reaching towards the floor for triangle. Bring the hands to frame the foot for low lunge, making sure to keep the front knee in line with the ankle. When you're ready, tuck the toes, shift the hips up and back for downward dog. Extend the opposite leg this time, bringing it through for warrior 2. Stretching the arms out at shoulder level. For reverse warrior, place the back hand on the calf or thigh. Begin to straighten that front leg, and keeping the legs where they are, begin to hinge at the hips for triangle. Bring the hands to frame the foot for low lunge, making sure to keep that front knee in line with the ankle. And when you feel ready, plant your feet and shift your hips up and back for downward dog. Walk the feet to meet the hand and roll up 1 vertebrae at a time, making sure that your head and neck are the last to rise. We're going to take an intense leg stretch, so exhale and slowly bend from the hips, keeping the back flat, neck long, and gaze to the floor. Your right hand is going to come to the floor, twist at the waist, extending your left hand overhead. Left hand comes down to the floor, twist at the waist, extending the right hand. Both hands are going to come to the mat, and you're going to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. We're going to practice some balancing poses. So ground in that left foot and bring the right thigh towards the chest. Slowly take the right foot and place it in the inside of the left thigh or calf while placing the knee outward for tree pose. Feel free to utilize a wall or anything in close proximity to you if you need some extra support for balance. Slowly lower the leg and come back to center. And we're going to ground on the right foot this time, bringing the left thigh towards the chest. Slowly take that left foot and place it on the inside of the right thigh or calf while placing the knees outward for tree pose. Slowly lower the leg and come back to center. You're going to plant the hands on the mat with a flat back for forward fold. When you're ready, step back and shift the hips up and back for downward dog. You're going to float the leg closest to me towards your right wrist for half pigeon. And set your knee and shin on the mat. Straighten that left leg, align your right knee in line with your right hip, square your hips towards the mat. Feel free to utilize a block under the hips in order to bring the ground closer to you. You can walk the arms out if that feels comfortable and just let the earth support you here. When you're ready, tuck the toes and shift the hips up and back for downward dog. And you're going to float the back foot toward your left wrist. Then set your knee and shin on the mat. Straighten that right leg this time and square your hips towards the mat. Walk your arms out slowly. Slowly walk your arms back up, tuck the toes, shift the hips up and back for downward dog, and then lower to the knees and sink back in the hips for child's pose. We're going to prep for wheel pose. If this is not in your practice, feel free to remain in child's pose or take a bridge pose as a substitute. Come to a seated position, placing the yoga wheel at your middle back. Rolling back onto the wheel, begin to plant your hands above your shoulders and ground into your feet as you push up into a full wheel. Be careful with your dismount as the wheel often shifts during this pose. Removing all props. You're going to lay onto your back, bending at the knees with your shoulders flat on the ground for a supine spinal twist. Bring both knees to the right side, crossing that left over the right, and rest them on the ground. Take a moment to survey your body, adjusting to make it as comfortable as possible. Bring your knees back to center and allow them to fall to the left side, crossing your right leg over your left. Untuck the legs and bring them back to center. We're going to take happy baby pose, so hug the knees into the chest and take the hands to the shins, ankles, and or outer arches of the feet, and gently guide the soles of the feet towards the sky. Your knees are going to widen towards your armpits. If it's in your practice today, begin to fully extend the legs, gripping behind the thighs for support. We're going to take our last pose for today's practice, which is Savasana. So extend all the way back out, soften with ease, and truly let go in your body, feeling your worries and thoughts just gently slip away. Release any negative thoughts that you may have. Thank yourself for showing up to the mat today. Be well. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying this series.